Fight Time Network. Welcome back to Fight Time Network. We are back, baby. We got Lee
Happy
up in here. What's up, Lee?
Happy holidays. Hope your Christmas was good, guys. We are back. Still a couple Saturdays before the UFC is back in full swing, unfortunately, but we just can't wait here at Fight Time.
Damn right. So we got another 2 weeks still before the next fights, but we thought we would treat you all to the co-main and main event of the first 5 cards of the year. Starting off this year is going to be UFC Fight Night, January 11th, headlined by Dern and Ribas. Co-main event is Ponzinibbio versus Harris. What you thinking about this, Lee? This is a really
You,
decent matchup. A
you know,
37-year-old versus a 36-year-old, or 38, 37, vice versa. Both got some age on them. Both got some good wins. What you thinking?
I really like Harris in this matchup. Uh,
Woo!
yeah, Ponzinibbio, I mean, he's lost 4 of his last 5.
Yeah.
And it maybe a little fluke win to Morano. I mean, Morano was putting it on him there before he eventually got that finish. Harris has had some good wins. He's got an end a Conda choke over Jeremiah Wells. He pulled out that great performance against Jared Gooden. It was a bit of a bad beat against Chaos Williams, his only fight in 2024. But I think he's ready to bounce back from that, and we'll see the performances that we saw from him in 2023 in his first matchup in 2025. I think he's going to put it on Ponzinibbio, and I think Harris is going to get it. I don't think either of these guys will finish each other. I think it's gonna be pretty competitive, but I see Harris definitely getting a finish, or not getting a finish, but getting a win.
Getting a win. I'm gonna take Ponzinibbio, my friend.
That's fair.
I know you understand from his record. You say, only 1 of 5. Look who he's fought in. Pereira,
Yeah.
Holland, Muslim, King of Kung Fu, Salikov. And nothing to take away from Carlston Harris. His last loss was Rakhmonov. I'm pretty sure he got caught with a heel kick,
Yeah.
heel wheel kick. Of Jeremiah Wells, Gooden, and Williams. Just the talent. It's hard to compare, really, how they're going to clash here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harris is a year younger. Got to give him that. But I don't think that's going to matter too much.
No, that's still the same mileage. Both these guys are vets. Both of them have a lot of miles on it. It's going to be a really close fight. That's why we're clashing on it. But yeah,
I do like the reach that Harris is going to have, over a 3-inch reach over him. I feel like Ponzinibbio is not going to usually used to that. Solikov's Holland he lost to, so never
yeah.
mind. But that level of competition, I mean, you put Carlston Harris up against Solikov, Holland, Morano, Pereira, Jeff Neal. What do you think his record looks like instead of Jeremiah Wells, Chaos Williams he lost to, and Gooden?
Well, I think it's very close. Like, I think Harris has a lot of the answers in the grappling, like the land an anaconda choke on a
Yep,
guy that is
done
as
it multiple
jacked as
times.
Jeremiah Wells, man. You've got to have at least the jujitsu skill when it goes to the ground. And I mean, Ponzinibbio does back up a lot. There has been times where he's left himself open to be taken down. And ultimately, Harris can find some solutions to the problem that is Santiago.
I'm going to agree with you. We'll see. I'm going to take Ponzinibbio on this one, though.
I feel you on that. There's a good argument for him there, too.
Yes, sir. Moving on to the main event for UFC Fight Night coming up January 11th. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Ribas 2, y'all. What you think, Lee?
You know what? I got Ribas coming in on this, and just by a hair, it's going to be those like another one of those competitive matchups, very very close in the women's division. She's got the win over Araujo. She's got the win over Pinero back when all the hype was on those two ladies. And Dern, I mean, she's got 2 wins in her last 5. She lost to Andrade. She lost to Lemos. Like, I mean, those are big ladies for the division. I think a little bit bigger than Ribas, but it's going to be a really interesting matchup there. Mackenzie Dern obviously has the grappling experience and the prowess, but Ribas, I believe, has the answers, not only on the feet, but I mean, her being able to push her back and sort of get into that world too a little bit, I think may play a factor in this fight.
I'm going to agree with you, too. Actually, just rewatched this fight a little bit ago because I didn't remember the matchup and how it went, even though it was unanimous decision by Ribas, but it was like super, super one-sided.
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't know how much better you consider during common, but she was 0 for 2 in takedowns.
Yeah.
Bad. On her
Yeah.
feet. Dern actually looked better in the third than she did in the first and second, oddly enough.
Yeah,
But it was the speed advantage. And I think she only started to look really good in the third because Reboss slowed down and her big overhand rights were finally coming close, coming in. But the way Reboss would come in, man,
yeah,
he was just very quick. I'd say she takes at least 3 of the 5 rounds.
absolutely.
I'm gonna go with Reboss on this one for sure, and I'm gonna agree with you that it's just Dern on the feet. She's just not quick.
Yeah, she's going to be quicker. She's going to be pushing her back, and Dern's going to have to find a way to ultimately get it to the ground. And even then, Rebus probably has a few answers in order to combat that as well. So I think this is going to be a Rebus fight again.
Hell yeah. Moving on, your first UFC pay-per-view of the year, UFC 311. It's going to be in Inglewood, California, January 18th. Your headline of Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian. I'm going to throw a random fight in here because it's such a great matchup. Dariush versus Moicano.
Oh yes,
Let's
yes,
go.
that is the
We'll leave
people's main
Prohostin
event
Hill
right
for the
there.
actual build-up, actual video talk. Let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about Dariush versus Moicano.
yeah.
Ooh,
Ew, yeah. Um,
gonna
this is kind of like a do or die for Dariush, and this is basically probably Moicano's last fight before he's in the full scale argument for the title picture. Like Moicano's on the way up, he's scaling and scaling. Like every fight that he has, where we count him out, Benoit Saint Denis gets it done. Jalen Turner he gets it
wild.
done.
Oh.
Yeah, like especially after he gets put down and Jalen Turner thinks he's got to walk off. And then Dariush, I mean, he's dropped quite a few, and this is kind of especially at his age, sort of do or die if he's ever going to have another argument to be up against Sarukian or Islam.
I do feel like Darius is going to give him the most problems out of anybody because Darius is known for his ground game. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, oh
He
yeah,
slipped in a couple of those knockouts of his last 5, at least
yeah,
one, if I can remember correctly. But you think Moicano's ground game's insane? We've already seen that. I
yeah.
mean, I forget which fight it was. He got old boy's arm and shit caught. It beat
Yeah.
the hell out of him really bad, but because old boys got caught in a bad position. If it didn't happen, who knows what happens?
I think it'll come down to how much dog is left in Benil Dariush.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if he's still got that fight, he's still got that dog in him. If he's still got the Dariush that's throwing those spinning back fists, that's heel hooking Tony Ferguson, then we're definitely going to see a good matchup that ultimately could go in his favor. But if he's got one foot out, it's not the time to be in there with Moicano, who is definitely trying to nipping at the heels of being in title contention.
I agree. And I'm gonna keep my decision for that week. Prediction. Just moving on for the highlight there. Moving on to Devashvili versus Nurmagomedov. You can't bet against Nurmagomedov. I don't think it's happening.
No, the Dagestanis are not losing the first time out in 2025. That is
No
just
way.
already written in stone.
See, this is gonna be an interesting one though. Like, I don't know. I see Nurmagomedov finishing him, truthfully.
Yeah, it is very well possible, man. He's got that guillotine from hell.
I'm
It's
saying from
team,
strikes.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
think
gonna
he's
be,
good enough defensively through wrestling
yeah,
that Devashvili is gonna come forward and press a takedown. And Nurmagomedov's gonna catch with a knee, question kick. I think it's gonna be a change of pace. I think Nurmagomedov sleeps him.
yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that how their both their grappling skills could potentially cancel each other out, and we get a full tilt striking match here. That is a huge possibility. The other side of the coin is we get a grappler's treat, and we get to see some of the most high level wrestling in MMA that's on the slate.
That's gonna be a good one. I'm actually gonna take Nurmagomedov on that for sure, though.
Oh, for sure. Nobody can go against Team
You
Khabib
can't bet
on this
against,
one.
yeah. Their family's what, like 28-0
Yeah.
just in the UFC. Something wicked. I saw something today.
Insanity.
Moving on to your main event, UFC 311, January 18th, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian. There's going to be a lot of build up to this, but I just don't see Sarukian putting on a very good show up against Islam, man.
Absolutely not. It is still Islam time. He is
Mhm.
not being taken out by any means, and I don't think Sarukian is the guy to do it. I don't see a guy in 155 right now
Right.
that's going to be able to do it. Definitely for the next few years, it's going to be the Makachev show. That's for sure. Perhaps there's a guy that's coming off the Contender Series in 3 or 4 years that ultimately will get the job as Islam ages, but it's not 2025.
Right. I 100% agree with you. There's just, yeah. He'll probably change divisions, maybe. We'll see. You
Yeah,
never know. They ain't got nobody
yeah,
to fight you, man. You got to keep it rolling.
yeah.
But I just see Islam within 3.
Yeah, to see what Sarukian did up against Oliveira and the struggles that he had, although
Right.
it was, he did have that Darce held sort of at the end of the fight, or Oliveira did, but ultimately, Oliveira did put a challenge on him there. And then when you go back to Islam and Oliveira, it was nothing. It was, a couple rounds and out of there. And I agree with you. Islam's definitely probably going to end up with the finish with this one.
Moving on to UFC Fight Night, February 1st. Headline by Adesanya and Imavov. But we got this beautiful co-main matchup. We got the Pirate Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page.
Holy!
It better be such a beautiful striking match. This better be the best striking
Absolutely.
we've ever seen. But usually this pan out to be junk.
Yeah, and praying to the MMA gods that there's
Oh,
no injuries between now and then. We need that matchup. We need to set 2025 off with that matchup.
yes, I agree. Whoever was able, yeah, thank God these guys are where they're at right now in the rankings
Yeah,
and how the weight class is rolling because we are blessed. Some of the
yeah,
two best striking phenoms in the division, truthfully,
yeah.
when it comes to keeping distance and using it all.
Yeah, very similar styles too. Each have their own niche, but both are very close and very different at the same time. Both are, both of them are real springy on their toes. They're moving in and out. A lot of them come in with their hands down. Share Bullet's got crazy elbows, crazy spitting stuff. Of course, Michael Venom Page has all the kicks in the world coming out from angles that you never thought could come from. Oh man, it's gonna be a treat to watch this. Ed, you'll pay for the full seat, but you'll only need the edge of it. That's for sure.
Facts. Your main event, Israel Adesanya versus Imavov. I love this matchup too. But what do you think about Imav's last couple wins?
Yeah, you know what? They weren't against the most seasoned, the most skilled, and ultimately, and I mean, we see Style Bender. His last loss was to DDP, who, regardless of what you want to say or how critical you are of Dricus, he's undefeated in the UFC. He hasn't
Right, dude.
lost to anybody, and every fight that he has, regardless of what you think of his style or how he approaches it, he's winning, and he's consistently doing it, regardless of whether he gets into trouble. He's finding a way to come out with victories, and he's the champion. He's the middleweight champion. And then there's still an argument that Style Bender, had an off night against Sean Strickland. It wasn't his time. There was other things that he was ultimately dealing with, and it just was not a good night for him. And I don't think that Style Bender's fallen that far to get an L from Imanov coming up. I think this is going to be one to get his head back in the game, get his confidence. But I don't think Style Bender's fallen off too far that he's going to drop one to Imanov.
I agree with you. You think Imavov come in game plan of wrestling though?
That would probably be his best bet because, I mean, if he's not able to beat Strickland striking, I don't think he's really going to have a good chance of a Style Bender coming back with something to prove. That ultimately had a good showing against DDP. Like, he looked great out there in his title fight. Obviously, he got finished in the 4th round, but it was a mistake that caused that turn of events.
Right.
So, yeah, it would probably be in his best interest to figure out how to get Israel Adesanya to the ground because he's going to get pieced up. It's probably facts as it sits now. especially going back to Imavov and Strickland and watching what Strickland was able to do. I think Stylebender could do that, tenfold.
I agree. See, I see him fight down in Kentucky against Cannonier. It's just, I don't think he's on that level. He has a couple good wins,
Yeah.
but like you said, messing with Stylebender, baby. And they,
Yeah.
like you said, they kind of have similar styles too. It's just
Yeah.
Adesanya is smoother, faster, quicker, stronger.
Yeah.
But you never know. Moving on to UFC 312, February 8th in Australia.
Ha ha.
Headlining DDP versus Strickland. Co-main event is Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez. What you thinking, Lee?
I think Tatiana Suarez is going to edge out Zhang Wei Li. She's 10-0 in the UFC right now. She is a heavy lady for that weight division. She has got great skills in takedowns and wrestling, and ultimately, wrestling was the deciding factor with Rose Namajunas and Zhang Wei Li, and I think Suarez can bring that a lot better than what Namajunas did to Wei Li. And I think Wei Li is going to have a great game plan to get this one.
Yeah, because Suarez is going to try to keep her distance on the feet too. I mean, she only has an inch on her, but she has 3-inch reach. Zhang Wei Li's kind of used to that too, but I don't know. She wears it good. Tatiana Suarez uses her reach really good as it is, and to have a 3-inch reach also.
Yeah.
Because Zhang Wei Li's going to want to blitz in. And I don't know if she'd be able to take her down, truthfully. Tatiana Suarez has looked great.
Oh, absolutely.
And Zhang Wei Li, in a couple of her last 5, has been able to get the takedowns.
Yeah. Yeah,
So this
she
is a very
finds a
exciting
way.
one.
But,
I think Suarez, it's a 5-round fight. I'm going to go Suarez by submission, actually.
Yeah, it's a good
I think
possibility.
Zhang Wei Li's going to rush in and Tatiana's going to be able to time her and get on top or vice
Yeah.
versa, turn it into a submission and get the win over Zhang
Yeah.
Wei Li. Even though I
That,
love Zhang Wei Li to keep her title because, just her history of fighting. When she fought Young Jacek, one of the best fights, top 10 fights of all time, not just women for me.
yeah.
I watched that sucker live and that was a heck of a round.
Yeah,
Go
that,
around.
that division was fireworks. It was bananas back then. Jacek,
Goodness.
Namajunas, Andrade was on fire. Man, that was a good time.
It was a great time in the UFC.
I think Suarez will definitely find a way to bully her throughout this, though. I mean, she's definitely going to use that reach and that weight to her advantage.
We shall
Size.
see February 8th. The main event, UFC 312. Dricus du Plessis facing off again against Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Strickland won the first time?
Man, it was close. I was there live actually at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto watching that. And so you pay for a good UFC ticket. I don't want to watch it like right on the screen, right? I can watch it on the screen when I get back. So I was sitting up in the 300 section and I'm watching down and I just saw, I just saw Strickland land. So from where I was sitting, I thought that Strickland was going to get the W. I actually have the recording on my phone of when they're about to raise up the hand and be like, and here I'm like, here we go, Strickland, and it's DDP. I'm like, damn. So I thought it was Strickland. It was obviously close. With Dricus du Plessis, though, it's kind of like, the Simpsons where Homer melts down the entire power plant and it's like, how does this guy still have a job? It's like, how does this style keep on still working for him, man? He has the most unorthodox, technically incorrect style that gets it done every single time. How he throws that overhand and dips his head off to the complete opposite end and doesn't get kneed ever. How he's able to get the takedowns that he gets. It's just,
it's same reach. Wicked.
But Strickland
Dude,
did.
Plessis uses his length amazingly. The way he cuts weird angles and throws his arm out. He closes just enough distance to feel like he's keeping his distance but still connecting.
Absolutely. When you break it down, it's something amazing to watch. Just the way it comes up and it lands. Like even it doesn't land, just the way he's built too is something
Yeah.
different as well. But Strickland's a dog. He's been gunning for this. He's cutting down to like what he was like 230 pounds when he
Yeah.
was talking about this. He really busted up with that jab, and you know how Strickland fights. It's really hard to hit him. It's really hard to touch him. So it'll be interesting how this one goes, especially with the judging being in Australia.
They got odds out for this one yet?
I don't think so, but I think it's probably going to come in as a pick 'em, or if not, a little bit of favor going to Drickus.
I could see actually Sean Strickland maybe even be favored,
Yeah,
truthfully. We shall see, y'all.
yeah.
That's coming at you February 8th. I know we got a long time till then, but you're not going to want to miss UFC 312. Last fight we got for you this evening, UFC Fight Night, February 15th, back in Las Vegas, Nevada. Jared Cannonier versus the Robo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a banger.
I got to go with Rodriguez, man.
Yeah, that's what I was
Cannonier's
leaning.
getting older. We saw in the Imanov fight, he's slowing down quite a bit. And Rodriguez is on an absolute tear, man. There's nothing. There's a reason they call him RoboCop, because there is absolutely nothing you can throw at this guy that's ever gonna slow him down. Like you saw that cut when it landed that knee, man. That was the nastiest cut that I've ever seen in UFC history. Just like right between the eyes, he comes back and he gets a knockout in round 2.
Yeah, that was nuts. I ended up winning money off that. I thought he was dead.
I know. Like, I don't even know how he stood up after. He just ate it like a pancake.
Who did Alex Pereira just fight? Oh, I keep getting them mixed up. And he lasted until the 4th or the 5th.
Yes, Roundtree.
Khalil Roundtree. And I
Yeah.
was getting him Cannonier mixed up for some reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But here, yeah, I'm taking RoboCop. See, I
For
was live in
sure.
Cannonier, lost to Imavov. I was there live watching that down in Kentucky.
Hey.
Down in the KFCs, boy.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of the things that Imavov hit Cannonier with early, you can't get hit with Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And the way he backs up and the way he tries to find his shots, you don't want to stand in front of Rodriguez too long. He's coming for your head, and not to mention he's got the grappling too. Like he doesn't really have to keep it on the feet if he doesn't want to. He's a very skilled grappler. He's got lots of submission.
I totally forgot about that. So he may just Cannonier sleeps his ass. You never know. But I feel like Rodriguez is really gonna walk through him. He can't. Yeah, he ain't gonna have much up against a 6'3" Rodriguez, man.
Yeah.
Except for Cannonier does have his long arms like down to his knees, man. He's got a 77.5-inch reach and he's only 5'11". Wicked.
Big old boy.
Well, sweet. Alrighty, y'all. We thought we'd pop in, give you some great fights that are going to be coming up this year. Yeah, we got 2 weeks, but don't worry. We're going to be back next week with the full card breakdown. Mackenzie Dern versus Reboss. See y'all then.
See you then.
Fight Time Network.